Hello, you fans of things. I feel very privileged to show you the following pedal, which is the Crazy Tube Circuits. I always say CTC because that's much less to write. Crazy Tube Circuits Crossfire, which looks like so. I didn't immediately know what Crossfire means, Andy Ferris was like, "Oh, do this like a Stevie Ray Vaughan," which I can barely say Stevie Ray Vaughan pedal. I'm not gonna say I'm not a Stevie Ray Vaughan fan, but it's also not. I'm not a fan who immediately knows all the stuff. So I did a little bit of research and all that stuff. I watched the music video for Crossfire, checked out the sounds, then turned on the pedal, and it literally nails that tone. What tone? A bluesy kind of tone, a Fender-y kind of blackfacey amp with a tube screamer in front of it. So what did Crazy Tube Circuits create here? A Fender-y kind of blackfacey amp with a tube screamer in front of it. But interestingly, it can turn your amp into that. And I'm always I'm always skeptical about those things, those pedals in a box that do something to your amp which your amp isn't. However, it does that. I don't know how. What do we have? On this side, independent of the other side, you can switch them and use them independently. This side is the amp. Tone stack, there's gain, there's a bright, which is tough to know if you don't know what it is because there's a little B. You have to read the manual. Bright, which is more apparent with cleaner sounds. And then low and high is the headroom. So if you want a very clean amp, high headroom, leave the gain around here. You want your amp to do the amp drive, which would be a Fender blackfacey pushing it. If that's, it gets kind of fuzzily and dense, but then less headroom and really push it right here and you're good. Of course, on the back, you can see there is 9 volt in and out. And what are these? These are loops. It's a send and return. I'm not going to test that for you. What it'll do is it'll insert whatever pedal you want between the drive section and the amp section. So you can literally say, oh, I like the idea of a tube screamer in front of this amp in a box Fender, but I'd really like a chorus in between it, or a fuzz, or a boost, or whatever. And you can insert that. So it's technically 2 independent pedals. If you wanted to, you could probably wire them up in a looper independently by going in and then send for the tube screamer part, and then return and out for the amp part. So, to sum up, bright, headroom, push it, EQ, output volume. And then this side on the right is a Tuby Screamy thing. We know that with volume, gain, tone, tough to read in these lighting conditions. Here, there. If you have someone to hold their hands over your pedal while you play, then you can even read it. I mean, it's a nice design with the paisley in the back. We get it, but tough to read when it's that kind of yellowish. So, this is gain, this is volume, this is tone. You get the whole idea. You can go no gain and all the way volume to actually use it as a tube screamer, to push amps. Are you going to get this pedal if you want to use it as a tube screamer to push your super cranked Mesa? Probably not, but you could. Then there's asymmetrical and symmetrical clipping. No idea what that means. Slightly different. To me, I don't care. And then there's more gain, which is a good idea because the tube screamer only pushes so far. You really want the singy leads, push it to more gain, and you're good. Now, we're going to test this with a bunch of amps, some guitars. Thanks to Justin Hombach, by the way, for playing in the intro. He was visiting. I'm like, hey, noodle around a little bit, and was like, dude, that's fucking awesome. And I'm like, okay, I'll film you, and I'm done. And that's what we did. What an amazing player. Go to his channel. So we'll do the Stratty thing because the Vaughn man, did the Stratty thing, but I'll also put some humbuckers in front of it. So this is a Macmull S Classic. It's pretty much one of the finest S's you can get. I'm going into the Tone King Sky King, which is Fender-esque, but it's got more mids and a little bit less pronounced bass. This will turn it into the real kind of mid-scoopy sound, as you can see when I'm turning it on. And of course, I'm going through my typical 412 Creamback loaded cab in the aux. a tiny bit more chimey, definitely less mids. It does exactly what it says on the tin. I'm going to put a little bit of spring on it because that's what we would expect from the Universal Audio something pedal. It does what it says. Let's look at the EQ. Let's push it a bit in high headroom. So we're going to go into low headroom. Woolly, thick, and a little bit fuzz-esque. It's like an old amp being pushed in the power section. Should we crank the EQ up and just see how far we can push it? Yeah, that was a bad idea. It's not horrible, but it's not like, oh my god. So let's keep it clean. He said, let's keep it clean, and then did that. Just wanted to see if the volume does something. Well, of course, the volume also really pushes it. But this is where I want to be now. So let's kick in the Tuby Screamy. That's already pretty damn cool. Let's crank it up a bit more and look at the asymmetrical versus reciprocal switch. A difference. I can't tell you what that is, if it makes sense, how to quantify it, how to put it in words. You have to buy it and flip the switch all day long to find out. Of course, you can go, lower, but more volume. Oh, the amp isn't even on. I'm an idiot. There we go. Beautiful tones. Now, well, let's keep the amp where it is. And push the gain again. It's of course important to understand gain, volume of the overdrive. Volume pushed into the amp will result in more gain. So either loads of volume, not so much gain, or gain, maybe a little bit less volume, different kind of overdrive, and then of course how the amp is driving. So there are a whole bunch of gain stages. And then you click this up. Put on some delay. So yeah, there's quite a bit of gain, and I can of course push that on many levels. So yeah, it can be as gnarly as you want it. Right now, we're really pushing the amp. We're getting the volume up on the Tuby Screamer. We're taking the headroom down. So you determine where you want your drive to do what. Right here, it's more just the drive. Tone knob. Now you put Humbuckers on it, and it turns into a different beast. I think you get the point. There is a lot of goodness in there. You have to find out what do you want, where do you want to sculpt your tone, but it's all in there, and the damn thing is tiny. Now we're going to push it into a few amps. Works with the Humbuckers. Let's go take this thing, because we have Humbuckers and singlies. First, we're going to go into the Artesound Vibrosound II, which is another clean amp. Right now we got it more on like a dumble kind of a setting through the FET input. the MVP66. Haven't done that yet. That's a JTM type amp. Let's see what happens. I got that to drive, okay? Okay, so it's driving. I don't know if that's what you would do. But you could do that. Next, we move into the Mini Plexi by the Marshalls. That soft clicky on the left isn't super reliable. I'm clicking it and it doesn't even click. Do the job though. Morgan MVP66, no, that's wrong. The Morgan AC20 is the Voxy type thing. Sound freaking fantastic with that, so put it into your Vox and make it a Fender. It sadly works, it's weird. And then we're gonna have two more, which is the Marshall JCM800. Wrong video. On the low input. And bam, there you are. That JCM puts its massiveness on the tone, so you'd really have to roll off the bass. But I mean, you can get in that direction. Now, let's see, with the Orange Rockerverb. Very mid-honky. It literally flips it 180. All mids, all non-mids. Come on. Yeah. So bottom line, make that big, Leslie. Thank you very much. I am skeptical when I get pedals that say can sound like Amp X or can get you the sound of Artist X. It's always difficult because what were they using and all that? But listen to the song Crossfire. Get your Strat to that position. Turn that pedal on and you're there. I mean, the stuff he's playing there is typical E minor, Dorian pentatonic stuff, relatively straightforward things that Mr. Vaughn is doing. Nothing crazy. And you can absolutely nail those tones with a lot of different destinations. So depending on what your amp is, obviously you have to tweak it a bit. But it does what it says on the tin. It gives you the Fender-y thing with the hollow mids. It can drive that amp with the gain and the headroom. And then you have a little bit more flexible Tuby Screamer. I mean, do you need the asymmetrical with a symmetrical? I personally think I don't. But that extra gain switch is really helpful. And for me, the Crossfire is a premier, pristine pedal for lead sounds. Playing leads with this is a blast. So I'm going to say, yeah, he's just being paid by the company. Yes, the company is paying me to make a video because making videos is a lot of work. But I can't get those sounds because I'm getting paid. I can only get those sounds because the pedal will do it. And there's no post-processing, no post-Malone, no post-Office, no post-anything. None of that was funny. It's a good pedal. I don't know how much it is. I'm one of the first ones to review it, so I couldn't check stores. I hope I can put links below for you. Not just for the blues guy, not just for the Stevie Ray Vaughan guy, not just for the single coil player. You want leads with a little bit of density, a little bit of that power amp distortion, that power amp. It's beautiful. Justin Hombach is a modern shred metal player. I put him in front of that thing and he soared. So can you, with a little bit of practice and the Crossfire and a good amp and all that stuff. I want to thank Chris from Crazy Tube Circuits for commissioning this video. I didn't have high hopes for this type of pedal, and I was schooled by him that, oh my God, how much fun can you have with a pedal like this? It is beautifully designed. It is, look at the pedal side shot. Look how big it is. It is really very compact. Everything top-loaded, 9-volt. It's got a loop, 2 pedals that you can use independently. You can switch independently. It's just there. And that's what I've discovered with Crazy Tube Circuits, that for me, everything they've released so far was a thumbs up. There are some companies where I go like, yeah, I'm not gelling with it. Yes, no, great stuff, not so great stuff. Crazy Tube Circuits, anything that Chris has thrown at me just worked. Good company. I'll put links below. Please use them. That supports the channel, feeds the cats, I've been instructed by Leslie specifically to mention the cats, not just the dogs, because apparently they need to eat too. Same thing on Patreon. If you go to Patreon, support the channel, support the creators, not just me, any creator you frequent. It really helps us. We don't just survive with what we make on the videos. We get paid a bit, then there's a little bit of YouTuber money, then there's affiliate, then there's Patreon. You put it all together, and then we have a day job. And the day job is not just pointing an iPhone camera at a pedal, which some of you think it is. So thanks for watching. Use the links, go to Patreon, do the clickies on all the socials, and watch the animals at the end.